All right, welcome to another RetailWire podcast. Today we're joined by a Chief Product Officer from Hanna Andersson, and I'm really excited to talk about this because I'm all about collaboration and storytelling and connecting with customers. So this is definitely going to be in my wheelhouse of interests. Why don't you give us a little introduction of who you are, your name, and what brought you here?
Sure. I'm Kara Carter. Super excited to be here. Chase, we have synergies. I like to talk about the same things. So we're starting off in a good place. But yeah, I'm a chief product officer at Hanna Andersson. I always say that's like a never a dull moment type of job. So I oversee merchandising, design, product development, and as well as kind of all of the sourcing side of the house, so sourcing and logistics, and how do we get it here? So never a dull moment. I've been at Hanna for a while. I've been at Hanna for almost 11 years. Um, my whole career has actually kind of been around small to mid-sized growth-oriented brands that have like really strong founder or founder-led roots to them. So no surprise that I landed at Hanna and I've stayed here for so long because it is absolutely kind of one of those brands that you just fall in love with pretty quickly. So yeah, that's me.
Well, and a lot of people think of Chief Product Officer, and in our world, there's a lot of software products um,
True.
in
I
the
get
world
that.
of
I get a lot of IT recruitment. Yes, you're right.
yeah,
I'm a merchant at heart. My
yeah.
background is merchandising, so a lot of times it is like chief merchandising officer. But I think
Mhm.
because at Hanna we're structured a little bit differently, and I do oversee more than just merchandising. We wrapped it all into to chief product officer, and you do see that in some places. It kind of is a mix of what this role is at different places.
For those who don't know about Hanna Andersson, what can you tell us about the brand story?
Oh, that could take all day. It's yeah, at a quick recap, the brand was founded in 1983, so over 40 years ago, by a woman with Swedish roots out of her garage in Portland. And she really, it was groundbreaking. I always say it was groundbreaking at the time because if you think about like back to the 80s and what was in the market for children's apparel and pajamas at that time, it was all synthetics. No one wants to put that on your baby's skin. And she was just looking for, she was having children herself and she was looking for product that met her quality standards that she was used to from Sweden. And so, literally started it with her husband from the garage. And obviously it's grown since then. We are a digital only company now. And we really just stand for, we call it Hanna Me Down quality. So quality is absolutely our differentiator. We carry apparel and pajamas from baby to kids, and especially as we're getting into this time of the year, holiday, quite a large adult family pajama business as well too. Yeah,
I like the play on words with Hanna Me Down.
Hanna Me Down. I know. Yes.
So I have two daughters, and the youngest is 6 and the oldest is 8. So just a
You're in the
couple of
sweet
years.
spot.
And
Yeah.
so we get to save some of those like pieces of clothing for the 6-year-old, but she always complains she doesn't get anything new.
I know, but if you get it from Hannah, it's like new by the time it's passed down because the quality it holds up so much. So try that spin on her. That might work.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe
just like
something,
new.
yeah, without holes in the knees.
Right, exactly. It's
Yeah.
just like new. It's just like new.
So personal connection here
Yeah, I love
because
it.
they also like American Girl dolls. So I'm familiar with that brand. I'm not as familiar with the other, but can you tell us about the partnership that you have been working on?
Yeah, we have two. It's been a very exciting month for us over here at Hannah. We have two right now. We have Dusen, which is an amazing kind of home brand founded by Ellen Van Dusen out of Brooklyn. And then obviously you just referenced American Girl, and very different collaborations for us. But I love that we have both of them kind of in the mix right now for sure.
How
Um,
did you find that they aligned, even though they're very different? How did they
yeah,
fit? What's this like common
yeah.
denominator?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's almost like if you back up for us, like this has been brewing for over a year now. Hannah has pretty long at this point. Oh my gosh. I think we started our partnerships back in 2012 with Star Wars. That was our first kind of collab partnership, started with small assortment of PJs. So we have quite a few years under our belt of what I would call like more traditional partnerships. We always say we're like the champions of childhood at Hanna, which I so fully believe. And so everything we do is rooted in the kid first. Like, what does the kid love? And that partnership strategy, when you think about Star Wars or Grinch or Peanuts or Frozen or Princess, all of those things that we know probably your daughters, kids just absolutely love.
Bluey.
Bluey, oh, sorry, yeah, I cannot
Don't
forget
forget
Bluey.
Bluey.
Good. Sorry. So we've definitely, had a really strong partnership strategy there. And about a year and a half ago, we kind of sat back and said, I think we have an opportunity to like think about collaborations and partnerships a little bit differently. And how do we, it's still with the kid at heart, right? It's still like, what's the kid gonna love? But a little bit more of like through the lens of mom, of like, what does mom actually wanna get excited about and see from Hanna? And I would say both our existing customer, like we have a super loyal customer base. So like what's going to excite her right now as she's kind of in motherhood and thinking about what would excite her for her kids, but also new moms that we haven't even reached yet. Um, so we really stepped back and said, like, what are those partnerships that some actually might be a little bit more unexpected, some maybe a little bit more expected, but how are we thinking about our partnership strategy, like targeting like different segments and different moms that we might not even have with us today?
Hmm. When you're looking at it, is like I think the obvious angle is like, would this sell? But you're talking about being introduced to new segments of people who haven't heard of your brand. How much of your decision making is based on that? Just kind of getting exposure to new audiences.
It's such a good point because obviously I oversee merchandising, so I always want it to sell, and I want to sell a lot. But I think what's nice is that we definitely kind of think of our portfolio of partnerships in different ways too. And there are some that are really designed more for impressions and to get eyes on the brand and to really halo the entire brand. Like I always think like a good collaboration should also just halo your entire brand. And so we don't put like the same type of sales expectations that we might have, even like on like a Dusen as we would say like a Bluey or a Disney princess, because they're different for us and what we're
Mhm.
trying to do with each of those collaborations. Um, yeah, so I think you have to treat them differently and know what your KPIs are for each of them, so you know what success looks like too.
Mhm. And how do you fit it into the loyalty aspect, right? Because these aren't open to just every customer, right?
Yeah, that loyalty, we're on 2 years. We're almost at 1 million members, which is so exciting for us. And it's a big part of our growth at Hanna too. But we also knew with loyalty, our loyalty program, that we really wanted it to be a loyalty program. We wanted to reward our very best customers with things that are exciting. And so, yeah, like that's part of the strategy too, of like how do we give that super high brand love customer something new and exciting that they can't get anywhere else and no one else can get to. And I mean, you can join the program, of course,
Yep.
and get access to it, but that's a key strategy. And thinking about like the two things together has been really impactful for us as well. Of the partnership strategy with the loyalty strategy and how are we melding these two worlds together?
Hmm. We've been actually covering this quite a bit, the evolving role of loyalty.
Yeah,
And, growing up, we had like, for me growing up, I'll say, um, Kohl's rewards. What was
yeah,
it called? Kohl's Cash. And I remember my mom just having a purse filled with all these like papers and, I think it brought us in the door, but I don't know if it really, gave that loyalty and love for
right,
the brand. And
right.
now there's this shift toward a membership first kind of retail.
No, I agree. I mean, I think even for us, like it can't just be like a reward coupon. Like we learned that too. Obviously, everyone loves a reward coupon, and we want people to use those as well. But that's not like the basis of a great loyalty program. There has to
Mm.
be more moments. We call them surprise and delight moments as well, and really thinking about what are we bringing to this customer, to really engage them in a different way and build community in a different way.
Is it at all scary to keep some of these products off of the main public side?
Yes, yes.
What's that like?
And, you know, as someone that like wants to sell to anyone that wants to buy from us, I can't lie. It was like a topic of conversation because even when we kind of brought the American Girl partnership to the table and the cross-functional meetings with our marketing counterparts, and they're the ones who are like, oh, this is good, this is great, we're gonna make it loyalty exclusive, and we're like, really. um, but I love it. Do you know what I mean? And it makes sense, to again like reward your very best customers. And our
Mhm.
program is also, I think I would be more scared if our program wasn't super easy to join. It's free. Like there's not like a big barrier, to joining. And
Yeah.
so I came around to the idea very quickly, but I will not lie. I did have a little tiny bit of hesitation at
Mhm.
first.
Yeah, it's adding friction, but,
Completely.
on the
No.
other side of it, there's a benefit.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you find when you were dialing into these segments, new opportunities for not just say, parents or moms, but like, are there other cultural touch points that you found?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny. I was thinking about this recently too. Like we've done a lot of work. We have kind of the demographic of who our customer is and who do we know we want to go after and where do they live and household income and all of that. But I think for us, stepping back and almost thinking beyond demographics and almost a little bit more into psychographics of where is this customer, especially maybe a customer that we don't have yet, and even like kind of going to the Dusen one, we knew that we had an opportunity to really lean into kind of design savvy moms. At Hanna, like we love print, we love color, we always have our eyes on other brands in all different segments and industries, but that also share that same type of synergy. And we knew that there was an opportunity to kind of reach that mom that really appreciates art and design and those types of moments. So that was like really fun for us to like really lean into for the Dusen. And then on the American Girl side, like very different in some ways, but to me it was kind of just really tapping, which I can relate to, but like really tapping into the nostalgia, like the nostalgic millennial that probably grew up with American Girl herself, just like I did, and have these like really amazing stories of passing down her doll to her daughters, or I mean it can't compete with your your parent, your kids grandma and what they get, but just these really rich stories of even the moments of like passing down and the nostalgia that brings of remembering playing with the doll and then watching your own daughters play with the doll. So yeah, there was definitely a nostalgia element that I think we really wanted to tap into with the American Girl,
Mhm.
and the synergy there of also just Hanna is like a brand that like the Hanna Me Down. I'm going to keep saying it, that you pass down like generation to generation. It's fun to bring those two worlds together,
Mhm.
for sure. Yeah.
That is another trend we're seeing is like demographics is just such a one-dimensional view of customers now, and psychographics, which sounds a little weird, but what would you say is like a psychographic?
I think for me, and I've actually thought about it a lot with Hanna too, because we are a brand, we are premium, right? We have a more premium price point. Um, but it doesn't always, when you see the people that really love Hanna, and I've met many of them over the years, it's like my greatest joy when you meet someone and like they like want to hug you because like the brand has meant so much to them. Um, but it's not always a direct correlation to household income,
Right.
or do you know what I mean? There's, to me, and that's why I use the word psychographic, because it's something beyond just that. It's something around the value that they put on children's clothing and what they're putting on their kids and wanting to have product that really lasts and doesn't end up in a landfill, and they feel really good about their purchase. Um, so I just think it's really important, to your point, to like go beyond just the demographics, which I do think guides so much of marketing, and really think about the psychographics of it as well, and where does your brand live in your customer's brain,
Mhm.
and how does that all play out?
Well, social media is usually one of the first places I look to for like new trends.
Yeah,
And even the way that the algorithms have changed, it's now based on interests. A lot of those demographical components just don't explain like what makes something connect.
right,
Yeah.
right.
How do you see loyalty and partnerships shaping the future? Is this something you see doing like year after year?
For loyalty, for sure. It is a big part of our growth strategy. We are a brand that I think the latest is 80% of our sales, come from our current customer base. And so, you always, especially in children's brand, you always need to be on the hunt for new customers and bringing like new people into the fold. But we also have like so much brand love already, and it's super important for us and our own growth trajectory to keep those customers, um, and but bring them like meaningful rewards program that actually builds community, builds engagement. So loyalty is super important for us. And then on the collab side, and again, they are intertwined. It's definitely still a strategy. It's a tricky place. I won't lie. Like there's tension there too, because I think sometimes I also see brands where all of a sudden like the partnerships and the collaborations can take over the narrative, and you start to forget like what the actual brand is. And so for us, it's a big part of our strategy, but also part of the strategy is making sure, like I said earlier, like that those partnerships are like haloing the entire brand. There's like natural synergy in what like who we're partnering with. It needs to feel like authentic to me, and real. I always say like the best collaborations, like I really think you can see them and feel them because it really is an authentic collaboration where both brands come to the table and meld worlds. And so it's a strategy, and there's definitely more coming. I wish I could give you all my secrets, but I can't. But it's tricky too. I will say it's tricky of how you balance it all.
Where can people find these collections? Where's the best place to go?
Yeah, HannahAndersson.com, and the quickest, you can either type in the search box American Girl or Dusen, or yes, go to the collaborations part of our site. Although we might have just changed it to characters. Now you're catching me on what it says at the top of the nav. I don't have the homepage open, Chase. Um, but yes, they're all there, and we make it really easy, like for the customer, because I think what we've also found is, again, still so much rooted in, what does your kid love? What is your kid obsessing over this moment? Is it Bluey? It might be Spider-Man tomorrow. It might be, and so we know that those character affinities can also change really quickly as we parent. We know how it goes, so we want to make it really easy for our customers to find all of their favorite collaborations that are going to bring so much joy to their kids.
Do you have any favorites from each of these collabs?
Oh my gosh. Like favorite products?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay. Let's start with Dusen. I will give you first the right answer and then the real answer. The right answer is the PJs. Like we are, if you don't know, like we have the very best PJs, and of course I'm not biased, but they truly are the best PJs. And I do just love like how it all came together with the stripes and everybody facing. It was just such an amazing collaboration. So the PJs is the right answer. They are iconic, but the real answer, my favorite, are the socks. And there was a funny story because they were a late add to the collaboration. We got literally every time we came together with Ellen Van Dusen and her team, and like it was an iterative process of I think how we got there. And I swear, like the assortment got bigger each time that we came together. And the socks were a last minute ad, and we may have potentially overinvested in them. We had a little bit of internal doubt of how much investment we put in those socks. So there is some doubt, but they're like top seller and we're almost sold out. And I love them because I think what it also taught us is that it's when you are putting together these collaborations, of course, we always want to make sure that we're putting some of our most like what I call like iconic product out there. You want people to like test and try your PJs or your best selling dress, right? But what I would say is it's really fun to have maybe even a lower price point in the collaboration. So for someone that maybe isn't willing to go like all the way there and buy like the women's PJ set, you can also just participate in the collaboration at a slightly lower price point. So whether you're adding on to your basket or it's a standalone purchase, I love the socks. So that's my real answer, and I'm sticking with it.
Socks
Um,
are a perfect gift,
they are. They put them in a
right?
stocking. They're just the best gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the American Girl. What I loved about that one is honestly how it came together. It really was. It was a tighter collection, so each piece had to be even more like impactful. I think of what we did, but we merged like one of our most iconic holiday prints with their color scheme and their iconic American Girl star, and kind of a mashup of a print. And so how that kind of just came out in the PJ and the mix it up is very kind of iconic to Hanna Andersson as well. So it's the PJ that for there too. And that's the right answer as well as the real
And the
answer.
real answer.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's both. It's both there.
Well, it's really cool to see this, and like it was fun to just go behind the scenes. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for all
Thank
the
you.
listeners checking this out. And yeah, it was great to have the conversation.
Thanks so much. It was great to be here.